Obviously, the Pistons, they won last night. They pulled it out. But I'm seeing a lot of things in the chat about the turnovers from Cade Cunningham. You know, things like if Cade can get it down to under 4 turnovers a game, he's playing at an all NBA level basketball right now. We got to get our guy Jaden Ivey is really turning it around this year. So there's how many turnovers did Cade have in overtime? I was keeping track on my phone with the ESPN app, and I swear he had like 6 to 7 at least. That ish is inexcusable.
It's not inexcusable. It's not. You can't do it. But if he gets a whistle from a referee, that takes away 3 of those turnovers.
Thank you.
Because he's getting down in the lane, and they are slapping his arms, and he's turning over the ball. So if he gets a whistle like some of these guys do in the league, I'm not asking for a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or a Joel Embiid whistle, but if he gets a whistle like All-Stars do, which he should because he's going to be an all-star this year, that takes away 3 turnovers from his average a game because they hit him when he gets into the lane. Still got to be better than that, but a lot of them are literally, go watch the tape on these turnovers. There are some that are just stupid passes where he gets caught up in the air, he throws a bad pass. But the ones when he's down in the lane, they're slapping his arm and then taking the ball from him.
Mark Walston in the chat, Cade continually turning the ball over with his soft butterfinger handles. He needs to come off the ball and not handle it. 3 years in a row now doing this.
No. You don't know
and that's the one thing. It has been 3 years of turnovers.
Yeah.
That's the one part of his game that has not improved in 3 years is the turnovers.
I do agree with Spenny. Some of those turnovers do come from that, but there are a lot of turnovers from Cade that are in the half court when he's just holding the ball too long, or he's running into a defender, he's way too close, or he's being double teamed and doesn't pass it quick enough. So these are things that he needs to mature in his game and get better at, because if he starts, giving out less turnovers, this Cade Cunningham is going to be amazing in this league.
Well, it's one of those things. So this is the Achilles heel, would you say, of his game? And the first question I asked, do you think he's self-aware and everybody around him is? Do you see him working on improvement of it? Is it a lot of it is more of the comfortability? Now, Spenny, you say it's sort of like plus minus a lot of ways because of how it's recorded and stuff, but let's go with the eyeball test, right? We can all agree he's got to have. Would this be equivalent to having a running back or a quarterback that puts the ball on the turf too often?
It's not as bad as some people make it out to be. Like Cade Cunningham averages less turnovers per game in his career than Luka Doncic by a half a turnover. So this year, it's been the worst that it's been, and that is because the increased usage. That is because he's getting the ball into the lane and attacking the basket. Like I said, if he gets a whistle like other guys do, he's going to be at the same level of turnovers as anybody who handles the ball as much as he does.
You know what I would like to see? Because this goes back to a conversation we had last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever, as far as when do these turnovers happen? Is this later in the game? Is this because, Spenny, remember you said at home the way that they substituted against LA and gave him rest? Is he having turnovers later in the third quarter and into the fourth quarter? Is this where the plethora of them are, or are they spread out, right? Because that could be more or less along the lines of fatigue. Or mental fatigue, right? Getting down to the game. So I'm sure this is something. Then we got to ask ourselves this. Think the coaching staff's aware of this?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So do you think the coaching staff's already thought about this like months ago as far as when is this happening and can we see progress, not perfection? Yeah. I think the biggest thing, Spenny, that I take from you is don't read the stat sheet, just like it's more or less of how they happen, and he's going to be the brunt. Now, to your Luka point, the what you get in return for that half a turnover.
Winning solves everything, right? No, if you're going to average 5 turnovers a game, and the Pistons are a 500 ball club, you're fine. And I think that's the difference between, like, if you want to give him the Luka benefit of the doubt, Luka's on winning teams. LeBron's on winning teams. Like, it's okay to have those turnovers if you're the leading guy on a winning team. But until you're winning, it's going to be a knock because that's part of why you're losing. Yeah, right?
And in basketball,
is that why everybody's...
And they didn't lose last night, and people are knocking them for it. Like I said, this is a thing that's going to happen with a guy who is as much usage rate as Cade Cunningham has. He's going to have turnovers.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the turnover leaders right now.
Inexcusable, like the ones where he's at the top of the key. But when he gets down in the paint and he goes to lay it up and he gets slapped across his arms and the ball falls out of his hands, the refs don't call it. I'm not blaming Cade Cunningham for that turnover.
He does
can't blame the refs, though.
No, but to your point, to Stick's point.
Did you see that jump
You
ball
can't
last
blame
night?
the refs.
You can blame the refs. He's not
D-Man,
getting
how
the
much
same
does blaming the
whistle.
officials help?
It's
point,
different
right?
in basketball than it is hockey.
He is not getting the call.
Yeah.
D-Mac, professional
No, but
athlete.
you
How
can-
much does blaming the refs help?
It's not blaming the refs because you're going to take whatever that has to happen, but it's the same thing as if you're watching a strike zone, and it's the same thing as you're watching baseball and you know it was outside and the guy gets a bad call or whatever. That stuff happens. It goes to the game. I'm more interested to your point about winning and winning consistent. The one thing I haven't heard everybody talk about is or make a point of is Goff had 5 interceptions this weekend. Did it matter? No, we won, right? But the Lions are in that different expecting winning. Culture,
and that's
stuff like this.
And that's not normal, right? A 7-turnover game is normal for Cade.
The difference is,
so that's what he's got to improve on.
In basketball, more times than not, your turnovers cost you points. Like in Jared Goff's case, not all of his interceptions cost you points. But in the case of Cade Cunningham, that's like a 2 to 4 point swing if he's turning over the ball a whole lot. So he does need to shore this up. This is a part of his game that he needs to get better at. And you can scheme for it all you want. You can try and coach it up. It's up to him in those moments to, stop turning the ball over as much. But I do agree with Spinney as well. He is not getting the calls, and that needs to be pointed out more because he is getting beat up, and we saw it a lot last year.
It's a loser mentality, though.
No, I don't
He
think
won the
so.
game.
I don't think so.
When the Lions sucked, what do? We blame the refs. Like that's just like that's what you do when
It's
you're not
obvious.
good.
If a man is getting
different in the
clothesline,
NBA.
does he
No,
get to
but
serve a foul call?
To the point of how, like I said this a while ago, is he going to start getting the calls? And you're telling me, no, he's not getting the calls. So this is part of it. I think the frustration, just like whoever the chat was that said, it's that we see it's been happening, but you're telling me it's happening different now.
Yeah.
It's happening more in the game with involved instead of him just being a turnover. So it's when I hear that, I hear this can be improved upon.
Yeah.
This can be changed because there's got to be a point where the Pistons will get the respect from the league and the calls
Right.
will start
It's
going.
the self turnovers he needs to work on
Yes.
because, like Spinney said,
there
can't
are stupid
control
some of them
the
are
ones like
because
that.
of fouls, but there are other ones as well that aren't so good.
Yes.
And it's just him
What's-
not having the right vision.
What's the biggest thing that the Lions that we never talk about, right? That we always used to talk about,
Yeah.
right? Dead ball penalties, right? False starts,
Right.
this,
Yeah,
that,
encroachment stuff.
right?
Stupid
because that not even a this is what we want. We want no dead ball, which means him creating that turnover. And we've seen that. I've seen it because, Spenny, you mentioned, I thought it was because he was mentally tired, trying to do too much down the stretch. So it's a combination. It's something to look out for and look to, because if they want to get to 40 wins stick, he's got to get that down under 5.
Yeah, and he
Well,
can't.
what I'm being told is he has no control over it. It's the officials.
That's not what anybody said.
They
You're
just
just making
said,
granular
please
statements
listen, because
you
they
don't
just
like
said
Cade
control
Cunningham.
the ones that he can control.
Exactly.
Not the
Things
ones
can be
he
true.
can't. And you know what? They will accept that. That's
So
part
on
of the
average,
game.
how many do you think the officials are responsible
At least
for
2 a game.
That's a fact.
So you think he should be around 3 a game because he's averaging
Yes.
5 a game right
yeah.
now.
And
3
3
a
a
game
game
would
ain't
be
hurting you.
all NBA player.
Yeah.
3 turnovers a game for the usage Cade Cunningham has is very good.
Okay.
Which
Listen,
that
I
tells
want him
me
to get
more
there. It's not like I'm
improvement. So
arguing
work on-
against Cade to fix this, but it is a problem. And to say, well, it's not really a problem. It's only the officials. No, it's a problem.
That's
It's been
not
a
what
problem for
anybody
3
said. We
years.
addressed that it's a problem and he
3
makes
years.
stupid decisions.
Yeah.
3 years.
3 years?
3 years.
It's been a problem for 3 years?
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook had that problem his whole career. He was MVP.
How many ships does Westbrook have?
Three
He
and a half
doesn't, but I'm
turnovers.
saying he was
Okay,
the
thank
MVP
you.
It was
in
a
this
problem.
league, though.
When he averaged 3.5 turnovers last year, it was a problem. When he averaged 3.4 turnovers the year before that, it was a problem. When he averaged 3.3 turnovers the year before that, it was a problem. Like, no, it's bad this year. because the usage is so up and he's not getting the calls. If his usage is what it was, it wouldn't have been as bad. Like I said, you take 2 turnovers off of that, which are ref induced.
And we can play that game too. But I can also say, well, the officials have bailed him out a couple times too.
So maybe
when have the officials ever bailed Cade out?
You can't say that. Did you
I
see
just
that
don't like
jump ball
using.
last
I don't
night?
like using the officials as an excuse
Did you
to how a
see Ben
player is
Adebayo
performing.
grab Cade Cunningham's arm and pull it down on the jump ball last night?
I get
that.
that.
He's never gotten bailed out
He gets
by
calls
refs.
and he doesn't get calls. That's
No,
how
he
this
rarely
works.
gets
He
calls.
never gets calls.
Okay.
I
don't know what else to tell you if you're
Look at
convinced
his
the
free
officials
throw
are
attempts.
responsible
His
for
free
some
throw
of these
attempts.
turnovers.
Look at the stats.
I don't know how else to convince you.
Look at the
His free throw
stats
attempts
of
are
what Cade Cunningham does and how often he drives to the basket compared to other stars who get the calls and he doesn't.
Yeah.
It is staggering. Like he does not get calls.
To this point, Cody Angle, right? The issue is Cade is an all-star, but he's not considered a superstar.
There you go.
That's why he doesn't get
He doesn't
the
get an
calls.
all-star whistle.
What's that?
He doesn't even get an all-star whistle. He gets a role
and you know
player
what?
whistle.
That's
Because you
My
gotta
eyeball
earn it
test,
in
I
this
would agree
league.
to that.
You
We
gotta
have-
earn that whistle, guys.
We have seen superstars turn the ball over a lot. James Harden, Russell Westbrook. I can go down the list of people that have had high turnover rates but are still stars and MVPs of this league. So I don't like that.
So you're just accepting that that's part of the game, and then that's fine, right?
I'm not saying it's fine.
You're justifying
but
it with Russell
he can
Westbrook.
still be an effective player even with a semi-high turnover
I think Cade's
rate.
great. Listen, I think Cade's fantastic. But if we're gonna sit here and pretend the turnovers don't matter,
But
I
that's
don't know
not
what
the
to tell you
difference
guys.
between him being
Nobody
a star
said
and a
that.
superstar.
Nobody
like-
said it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're just making that up.
I'm not making it up.
We're
Okay.
all saying he needs to be better, but
Yes.
there is
He
nuance.
just
to
gave the
to
example
fact.
of, James Harden. They've been MVPs, so the turnovers don't matter. That's essentially what he was just saying.
It doesn't separate him from being a superstar and a regular star. That's what I'm saying. Turnovers aren't the mark for that.
I want him to be an efficient star. And that's it.
He's
And-
damn. I mean, shit.
And that's the only knock on his game right now. And you know what? We were talking about the Pistons winning last night, and what was the chat talking about? Cade's turnovers.
Yeah,
They
I
so
need
it's
to
not
get
just
over that,
me.
though.
It's not just me sitting up here making
That's
a narrative.
loser mentality. They
It
won
is.
the game. Talk about them winning the fucking game. He had too many turnovers. That's loser mentality. They won the fucking game.
They still have a losing record. Right?
Okay, and this isn't a superstar team. Did you expect? You said 40 wins.
40
at
wins.
best.
I expect him to be at 500.
You don't talk about Jared Goff's interceptions when they win the game, do you?
Jared Goff had 6 games of 83% completion
I
percentage.
understand,
The
but the
minute
games
Cade
he
goes
threw
on
a
that
pick
type
in,
of run,
no,
I won't say
the
shit
games
when he
he
has a
threw a
7.
pick in and
Like,
they
what are
won,
we
you don't
doing
talk
here,
about the
KG?
interceptions.
What are we doing
I'm
here?
just saying.
Tell me the run Cade went on that was historic in the NBA. Tell me.
He's the 6th youngest player to get to 3,000 points.
That's not
900
a
assists.
run.
It is his career. His career has been a run up there with the likes of Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Isaiah Thomas,
Yeah,
and
so
Grant
you're telling me
Hill. Are those
5
good
people have
players?
already done it. Nobody did what Jared Goff did through
my
6
God,
games.
dude.
Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
Thank you.
I just
So
said
what
the
are we
times he
doing?
threw
So,
a pick
so,
and
you,
they
so,
wanted
you,
to
so,
go
you,
talk
so
about
you
it.
want Cade Cunningham to be, at this point in his career, an MVP candidate? That's the only thing that will make you happy with him?
No, I just want us to
Okay, so then why
acknowledge,
are you
hey, he's got a
comparing
turnover
Jared
problem.
Goff, who's been in a system for 4 years and knows it like the back of his hand? It's a
Exactly.
difference when you're at a guy who's his first year in a good system with a new head coach and finally being that man in the system. It takes time.
It does.
All right.
Just like it took time for Jared Goff.
I think he had the Rams in the Super Bowl year 3.
What about
didn't
his
he?
first year with the
understand.
Lions? Was he fine? Was that
I think
MVP Jared Goff?
year
Was he
3?
performing his
Year
first
3?
year?
Was it, will you give him year 3? Because that's
Not-
what we're in with Cade.
Year 3? What? This is year 1
The
in
NBA
JD
is different,
Bickerstaff's
by the way,
system.
but-
That was year 3 in Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell's system. It's going to take time. Cade Cunningham is an all-star this year.
All right. Well, I mean, we're committed to the guy, and I'm here for it.
yeah,
I just
and
want to
you-
see the
and you're
turnovers
mad
down.
about
Y'all
that.
treat me like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Excuse Goff's 5 interceptions. Why? Because we won the game. Point blank. Period. We're not talking about that.
And for other reasons too, KG.
Okay.
If Jared
All right.
Goff was coming out throwing 5 interceptions a game, if
But
I was sitting
if
here
we
being like,
lost that
well,
game,
the
what was the
officials
time?
were responsible for 2 of them.
That's what
I'd
I
sound
heard.
like an
That's what
idiot.
I heard
We say,
I sound like
we
an
say
idiot.
the defense is responsible.
But you
for 2
guys
of
are
them.
okay.
You
That's
said
fine.
that. You said that on the post-game show.
Yeah.
One was an arm punt and one he got hit from behind. So
Right.
those
One
aren't
was
on
a
him.
Hail Mary. We
One
excuse
was a
that.
Hail Mary.
I
Okay,
get
but,
that,
but it's a turnover, so you can't excuse it.
I get it, but I'm not blaming the official.
But you're blaming the circumstance.
Right.
It was still a turnover.
You're right.
So if you can't blame the official, you can't blame an arm punt.
And this is what you guys are doing. You're turning on Jared Goff's one game
not
into
turning
the
on
guy
him.
is
We're
averaging
just trying to
five.
make an
using your
example.
logic against you.
No, I'm
that's
using
why
your
you're
logic.
getting,
Making
that's why
an
you're getting so
example.
frustrated is because it's like you're arguing with yourself.
No, I'm telling you, you cannot hold Jared Goff to the same standard Cade Cunningham.
Exactly. So
Coming
am I.
coming off a 6 games of perfection, damn near.
Yeah, and you
if Cade
can't
went
hold
on
Cade
that
to
run,
that.
I can promise you guys, both of you, if he had 7 turnovers the next game, I'd keep my mouth shut.
Cade almost had
And-
4 straight triple doubles.
And you
Almost.
and you can't hold Cade Cunningham to the same expectation you hold Jared Goff the other way, because this is his first year with a new head coach and a new system.
Good God.
Jared Goff's first year with a new head coach and a new system, you needed him to be an all-star or a superstar, or he wasn't good, because that's what you're treating Cade like.
Let's go around the room. Do you see progress, Spenny?
Yes,
Clearly,
a lot of progress.
Clearly, you can see
Yeah.
progress.
In every area but turnovers.
Okay.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Am I
but-
the
but I
devil
like
for
the fact-
acknowledging
but
reality?
No.
Here's the thing.
But it's not the whole story on Cade Cunningham. You're trying to make it
and
the
that's
whole
fine.
story on
Kenny,
it.
all the people need to know is that you guys see progress.
Yes.
They ain't worried about
We've all
Whatever.
acknowledged the fact he needs to fix it.
Stick
I don't know
hasn't
what
seen
the-
enough progress.
In one area.
Right.
Like, that's it.
That's cool. You can harp on that because
Yeah.
I'm more focused, on what's Spenny
Winning the
to
game.
watch. And I know the eyeball test and as the referees, it's the same thing. I know we're late for break, but it brings up a great question for later, Spenny, about
Turnovers.
Cade and the Larkin is the respect from the league, but where the
Yes.
teams are at. Mike G brought that up in the chat. That's for another date, though. Where are
That
we
is
going?
good. I'll
Pre-game.
knock that down. That's a good
Pre-game
one.
show.